Ray Bradbury was an American science fiction legend whose rating peaked in the mid-20th century. Bradbury examined themes in American life during the 1940s and employed current events from international wartime chaos to domestic social change and political policies of the decade in order to form short stories that turned to the novel The Martian Chronicles. One short story from the book is Interim. The story describes the construction of a town on Mars by colonists from Earth and how they made it look very much like a typical Midwestern American town. This is very similar to the idea of suburbanization that began to occur at the end of World War II. The first intentional suburb was Llewellyn Park in New Jersey. Llewellyn Park and Lake suburbs are not dissimilar to the American-like town colonized on Mars because they are for a very similar purpose. Both are meant to colonize an area and promote overall productivity, including work, art, and reproduction. Bradbury also observed multiple wartime events from World War II and employed similar occurrences in the short stories from the Martian Chronicles. For instance, one of the largest and perhaps most devastating days for the Allied powers during World War II was June 14, 1940, when the Germans entered Paris and began their occupation. The Germans had set out to put France under their control and like their mainland, by arresting the French and interrogating them. This is not very much unlike the entire second act of the Martian Chronicles, in which humans from Earth colonize Mars. There were only a few surviving Martians when the Earth colonists finally settled, which is also not unlike how nearly 2 million French fled as the Nazis invaded their capital. These Earthlings were consumed with making Mars a second Earth. The connection is quite clear. Chances are very high that Bradbury saw this extremely prominent event in World War II in international history and multiple similar events and used it as inspiration for one of the main themes in the Martian Chronicles, which is the struggle that happens when two cultures physically collide. Ray Bradbury also witnessed some major political occurrences in the time he was writing the vignettes that make up the Martian Chronicles, and definitely implemented some into the themes of his writing. The story Usher 2 is about censorship. This is about a book-loving man who moves to Mars when the Earth government confiscated and burned his entire book collection. He partners up with a former actor and film aficionado who has also been censored and banned from performing by the government. The book-loving man and former actor arrange to kill their persecutors, and after they are dead, Bradbury hints through his characters that these tragedies could have been avoided if the persecutors had just read books. Between 1946 and 1956, the California Library Association challenged anti-communist attempts at censorship in schools, public libraries, and even in legislative situations. Censorship was alive and well, and Ray Bradbury recognized it, and was so vehemently against it, he wrote an entire short story telling everyone that he knew censorship was beginning to occur more widespread, and he did not mind because that is what he loved to do. Writing about real issues that impacted people globally was a passion of Ray Bradbury, and one he implemented into most of his works, including The Martian Chronicles. Thank you.